Interviews with the best in their fields, teaching you how to excel in careers that don't require traditional college. You're listening to the College Alternative Podcast. Insider tips and advice, straight from the experts. And now, here is your host, James Christian.
So, you want to work at a salon, but you really don't know how to get past a Joe Schmo Great Clips that offers haircuts for around $10. What you really want to do is work for a more exclusive boutique salon that provides the opportunity to earn upwards of $100,000 a year. Today we have on Brooke Stanley. She's a 15-year hairstylist based at the Etch Salon in Scottsdale, Arizona. So she's going to be talking today about what schools you need to be getting into, how to network and get yourself into these boutique salons, and also how to attract and retain clients. So all that stuff's really, really important for a career as a hairstylist, and some of the answers she gave were pretty surprising. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and check out Brooke. Thanks. Hello and welcome to the College Alternative Podcast, the podcast that shows you how to excel in careers that don't require traditional college. Today, we have with us Brooke Stanley from Etch Salon. Hey, Brooke.
Hey guys.
Hey, thanks for coming out and talking with us here a little bit. Really, what we wanted to talk about today is your profession, a hairstylist. You work for a really prestigious salon up in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yes,
right?
yes, yep.
And so, what are your job duties? What do you typically do day to day?
So day to day, it depends on my day, honestly. I'm lucky enough I've been doing it for 15 years now, which is weird to say out loud, but I have an assistant now, so I'm really lucky. So, shampooing clients, sweeping, cleaning up after me, all those things that I used to do for everybody else, someone does for me now. So, cutting, coloring, but most important is to develop a relationship with your clients. They're there, and really 80% of the reason that they come and sit in your chair is because they like you. Not so much because you do amazing hair or are an expert in this. You really have to form relationships with clients. So that I think that's the most important thing. And that's what I focus on. It's all about them, They come in and they're having a bad day and they leave feeling like $1 million. If you look good, you feel good. So that's my main focus when it comes to.
And you said you've been doing this for about 15 years, right? Have all these 15 years been at Etch Salon, or what's kind of your background here?
Almost. So I actually did go to community college for a few years, and I always knew I wanted to be in the fashion industry, no matter what it was. So I tried community college for a few years, got my degree in marketing, but it was all geared towards fashion. So we'd go to New York once a year and we'd go meet designers and different things. So I've just always been very passionate about that. And then I was there actually in New York, living there, going to the Fashion Institute of Technology. And I was there for 9/11. Mm-hmm. And it was the hardest decision I ever made to move back to Arizona, but all my family's here. So it just made sense, and it was a scary time, right? And it's just, it brought me back here, and I know that I'm in the right place. And then I went to cosmetology school when I got back, and here I am. So the first 2 years I was at different salons that both promised me different things, because I really wanted continuing education. So okay. I finally found Etch, and so January will be 12 years I've been there.
Okay. And you said you were at the Fashion Institute of Technology up in New York?
In New York City, yep.
Okay. So it almost sounds like you were getting a degree or going the route of marketing, but in fashion. So it sounds like you were already developing relationships and starting to get an eye for style. Maybe not necessarily hair, maybe clothing, all that other stuff. So really, how did you develop did you develop a sense of style back then even?
I've always had it, and speaking with my family and my friends from a young age, I always had kind of a quirky, sense of fashion. My mom loves to tell the story of the first haircut that I ever did. I was 3 years old, and I cut my friend's hair.
Oh
I
no.
cut her bangs pretty short, and I guess my mom didn't talk to her for quite a while after that. So my family, when I came back from New York, I said, okay, I guess I'm going to go to cosmetology school. And my whole family said, well, it's about time. And I'm like, well, thanks for letting me in on that, you know? So I've always had a passion for hair. I never thought about it as a career until I went through everything else that had to do with fashion in my path. But I love it. And now that I think of it, I've been doing it my whole life. Like, all my girlfriends would come over. I'd always be doing their hair or their makeup. So it's been in me. I've been passionate about it my whole life. And, you know, the beauty industry, it all goes together. Hair, makeup, you know, it all meshes together. So
I thought you were gonna say your Barbie. You cut your Barbie's hair, but I didn't know you were gonna say your friends.
live person.
Oh man.
So
it's
three.
so it sounds like networking's huge. So you were already getting into the whole niche and the whole marketing and friendships
Yes.
in New York at the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. So you went to Fashion Institute of Technology, and then you went to Cosmetology School. Which school did you go to?
So kind of two schools. When I started, it was called Scott Cole, which is a very classic style, very precision cutting. He learned from Vidal Sassoon, which is a well-known name, I think. You know, he's a very famous hairdresser. And then after that, oh gosh, it's hard. So Scott Cole is very technical, and then the school got bought over. And so it was Tony and Guy, TG, and they're all about texture and super funky. So I had very classical training and very just out there, you know, wild training, which was great. I was very lucky because usually you get one or the other.
Yeah.
And they don't mesh together when you're in school. So I kind of had two different educations in the same school.
And you were able to combine both, or at least both perspectives, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So what do you like about your job?
I tell all this since every morning I wake up and I go hang out with my friends and I do their hair and I make them feel better about themselves and they pay me. So I feel like I'm hanging out with my friends all day and they're paying me for it, you know? The relationships I've developed, and 12 years is a long time, and some of my clients have been with me for 15 years since I started. And so you form that bond with them. It's not like you hang out with them, but you know, you're almost a psychologist as well. You tell your hairdresser everything, right? So, but it's the relationships and the creativity, and I mean, I always have to be doing something with my hands. Always. If I'm at home, I'm flipping through a fashion magazine and I'm looking for new trends and new things. So it's just something I'm very passionate about, and I love going to work every day. The salon I'm in, energy is unbelievable. There's 33 chairs, there's 33 stylists, and I think 15 assistants because we have an amazing assistant program. Wow. So I get home and it's like no one talks to me, like I need to decompress because it's overwhelming, but it's incredible creative energy, and I just love being surrounded by that and my friends, which are clients. So
well, that's cool. So it sounds like you really didn't go the traditional route for training to be a hairstylist, right? You were almost going a different route, and then you dramatically, well, maybe not dramatically, but you went off course a little bit and towards actual passion, right? So did most of the people that you work with, did they go the route that you did, where they went to traditional college and then they went the hairstyling route, or?
I would say no. I'd say maybe 25, maybe not even that much. I'd say 15% kind of went my route. The majority of the salon, they came right out of high school.
Okay.
To school, so.
And then what kind of training to get to a really nice, because there's some people, you know, that go and pay, you know, $10 for a great clips haircut. And there's some guys that pay $300, you know, for and don't get me wrong, because those hairstyles are, there's definitely a difference there.
Right.
But I'm sure there's a difference in training that these employers or these salons are looking for.
Yes.
So if I wanted to become a good hairstylist, and become a good hairstylist and get into a great salon that has ongoing training, where do I go for that initial training? What are they looking for here?
I would say, well, school in Arizona is 1,600 hours. So, you can go full time, you can go half time, you can do it a lot of different ways. So a lot of, like the owner of my salon says, just go to a cheap school, get your license, and find a salon with an incredible training program. And we're really known for our assistant program. Basically, after you've gone through that, you can go to any salon. We don't want you to. We want to keep them there, right? Because we've given them all this wonderful training. But sometimes it's not the right fit, and you just find out as you go. So when you're in school, talk to your instructors, start looking, and usually they'll take you on tours when you get towards the end of your 1,600 hours. They'll take you on tours of different schools, but pay attention. I think the most important thing for me is pay attention to how you feel when you walk in the salon, because you're going to be spending the majority of your life there, so you've got to pay attention to that. I don't care if it's the most beautiful you've ever seen. If you don't get a good vibe or a good energy and you don't feel comfortable, it's not the right place for you. There's one thing to be nervous, and then there's another thing to just feel like it's not the right place for you. So go to shows, go to hair shows, talk to the companies, just start networking, start asking questions. If you go in Arizona, we have a show in Glendale in October, and so all kinds of different companies will be there, and it's great to go and just pick brains, because there's so many companies and stylists and educators, stage artists that are willing to share. There's a lot of egos, but there's that in any profession. It doesn't matter.
A lot of A-type personalities that want to push themselves are going to be,
right.
ego-driven too.
Yeah. So there's a crazy mix, but just start networking, start talking to people, and if there's a niche that you want to get into, find the people that are doing that. Go visit the salons, call the owner, really do your research and think about what you want and where you want to be, what area you want to be in. Do you want to have just work behind the chair? Do you want to do stage work? Do you want, to do education? There's so many different routes you can take. Styling hair, even not even cutting and coloring. There's so many different things you can do. So just start networking, start talking to everybody, start asking questions, and you'll find what fits right. And I think that if you find what feels right and you're passionate about it, and everybody else is passionate around you, you're gonna excel. And
you bounce those ideas off each other.
Like, you won't even think about that. If you love what you do and you're passionate about it, money follows, and so that was most important to me. And I think it's something that a lot of people don't think about, that just pay attention.
See, that totally flies in the face of what I would have thought. I thought, get yourself into the most prestigious, salon or school out there, pay a ton of money, but you're telling me, just get yourself through the class, and the networking is the most important.
Get your hours done. You have to take your state boards, and then get into a good salon and just network your way in. Just start talking to people. Yeah.
Because if you got to be a good talker in order to be a good stylist, right? So.
But more importantly, a good listener.
Okay. Yes. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That totally makes sense to me now that you said it, because again, I just thought, hey, get yourself into a good school, but really, in order to develop yourself, you've got to be around the people that are actually doing the hair, and they're on top of all the trends, and they're pushing the boundaries, right?
Yeah. Find that one person, whether it's in a salon or on, a Carousel team or a Bumble or Sexy Hair team. If you find that one person, and even if you just follow them on their Instagram or their Facebook, and they're inspiring you, even if you're not in touch with them. But so many of them are so open to sharing and helping, young stylists along in their path. It's really incredible.
And so, do a lot of high-end salons have apprenticeship programs out there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, a lot of them in Arizona, and it's different from state to state, but in Arizona, there's probably a handful of salons, just a handful, that have assistant programs that are well known.
Okay. Okay.
So if you go through, say, at Etch, you go through our assistant program, and for some reason you just decide, I'm going to try somewhere else, or if you want to go rental because it's only commission there now, and there's different avenues you can go. You're trained so well, because in school you learn the basics, you learn the foundation, right? You're building a house. You can't just slap things on and put a nail here and a nail there. You've got to build the structure of the haircut. You've got to learn the chemistry of the color, and so you learn that. I hope that you would learn that in school, depending on the school, but you learn that foundation, and from there you can do anything. But you have to build that structure before you can start detailing it and putting special things into it, if that makes sense.
Oh, no. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Learn the basics, and then you can start getting crazy and having fun.
Yeah, and you can do whatever you want. I'm shaving the back of heads, putting designs in them now. You guys have probably seen that, and yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
See, I love this conversation because you're using total terminology that's totally artisan. It's let's develop and let's have fun, let's have creativity, and I can't do my job unless I have a creative environment that I'm comfortable in, and I want to develop myself and get training out there. That's awesome. Do a lot of salons give ongoing training for their artists?
I don't know if a lot is the right.
Okay.
Because the first two salons, they both promised me, because when I came out of school, and I went to a very good school, I paid thousands of dollars to go there because it was the best school. And I think I did get more out of it than just going to a school that you paid $3,000 for. But it's not necessary, because when you get out of school, you want to get further training. So I really don't think there's that many salons that have assistant programs that are the same caliber. There might be smaller salons that 5 stylists will kind of nurture and bring up one assistant. So there's a lot of different ways to go through that. It also depends on what product lines they carry, because certain product lines provide that ongoing, quarterly education, which is huge. You want to know what's new and what's coming out, and especially if you're carrying it in your salon, because, we never say sell, we say educate. You educate your clients on how to put the product on, how to use it, because the number one complaint from clients when they leave, I just can't make my hair look the same way you did, right?
You just ran your fingers through my hair and it turned
out
perfect.
Made it so easy. But you've got to educate them while they're doing it. So, I don't think of selling them the product. I'm giving them the tools to do it. And so you want to look also at the product lines they carry, because that is often going to determine how much further education they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So basically this line of questioning here, I just need to throw out all the rest of my questions on training and really just reorientate towards like apprenticeships and assistant programs here. So how does your assistant program work at Etch specifically?
So we have a series of 8 haircuts. So you start with blow dries, because you got to get the blow dry down. If you can style hair, I don't care if the haircut is horrible. If you can style that hair and make it look good, they're going to be happy. I'm not saying do crappy haircuts and then style it nicely, because that's not going to fly when they get home. But you just really need to focus on one thing at a time. So we have 8 haircuts that you have to pass. So a month at a time. It should take a month, maybe 2, to master that haircut. haircut. So the first haircut's going to be a long layered haircut. And you're going over the basics again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you've really gotten that down in school, then you're going to fly through. But the average for Etch, I would say an assistant is anywhere from a year to 2 for the program, depending on, but you know, if you go home every day, I will never forget, one of my mentors told me to read only chapter 2 and Outliers. Have you read that, Malcolm Gladwell, the 10,000 hour rule?
Oh, yes.
10,000 hours to master something, right?
Yes.
So if you're in class and it's Mondays from 9 to 12, you bring in live models, and if you go home and you keep practicing that haircut, you know, you're gonna fly through. But that's not typically the case. You know, you work for your stylist 3, 4, 5 days a week, and then you have class on Monday. Monday's the only day the salon's closed. So it's really up to you and your drive and what you want and how much time you want to put in it. So there's a series of haircuts that you have to go through. Once you pass all that haircuts, you go through a test out. So basically you have, it sounds really intimidating, but it's a big family, right? Like everyone loves each other, we cheer each other on, but it can be intimidating. Like you have to bring your models, you have to get them there, and literally 4 people stand around you with like their little, you know, checkboards, and basically they just want to make sure that you have all the tools and you're confident, because it's not just the haircut they look at. They listen to your consultation. Are you asking the right questions? One of the questions that I feel like is so important, especially with a new client that's like, oh, I don't really know what to do. You know, I kind of like this, I kind of like that. They show you 2 pictures that are completely different and not their hair texture. So I think the number one question I ask new clients is, what do you hate? What do you absolutely not want? Because if they don't know what they want and you're just like, okay, I mean, it can not go so well. So ask questions like that. You know what I mean? So the consultation, it's like a contract. You know, you go over it. Okay, we're going to do long layers. We're going to do some highlights. You know, we're going to do some face framing. And you go over with that before you start anything, because then you'll have no problems. There'll be no issues. There'll be no, well, I wanted this. You know, you really want to make sure you have a clear picture of what they want or do not want.
Yeah, no bad surprises at the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because your hair is your best accessory. You wear it every day. It's your most important accessory. You know, and you look at yourself every day. So if your hair is not right, you just don't feel like yourself. Not everybody, but you know, a lot of people.
Well, no, and it'll throw off, you know, if you're going in for a business interview or a business meeting with a client, or they're going to look at the overall package, including your hair.
Absolutely, and that's another huge part is looking the part. You know, people will start getting lazy, and we don't have a dress code, but you dress fashionably, right? Like you have to fit the part. If I go in to get my hair done and you're wearing a wife beater with jeans and flip-flops and your hair is up in a bun, or you know, you look a mess, it's going to make me a little nervous. Like, I want to go to someone that looks put together and
what they're doing.
Their colors, you know, it builds your, you know, it builds your worth, and it builds the confidence in them, and it's such a big deal. And a lot of people for some reason don't get that part of it until way down the line. But you know, if you think about it, and you go anywhere where you're getting even books or anything like that, right? Like anything that's done to you that's permanent, that you're looking at every day, like you've got to make sure that you like it, that your client likes it, basically, right? And they're happy and they know what to do with it.
So how many assistants do you have at your salon? 15, you said?
I think 15. Yeah.
Okay. And how does that work? Did you just put in an application or do you have an audition, or how does that?
It,
How do you
yeah.
select them?
So basically, you'll bring in your application, you'll interview with the owner and the salon coordinator, and then he is very good. He's been in the business for 30 plus years. From New York, he's traveled, he's done photo shoots, he's done everything, right? So he's and he works behind the chair. He's there every day, all day. So he's an amazing owner. So I would say, what was the question again? Now I'm really getting off course.
Hey, no worries. Yeah. What's the application process? How do you do it? How do you select?
And so owner, salon coordinator, and then he's really good at matching stylists with assistants. He's really good at matching personalities. So basically you go in, and timing is a huge factor too, because sometimes you never know. We might have 3 openings available, and we might not have openings available for a year. So, and being consistent, if you really want it, call every week,
Yeah.
after the interview, and check in. If you want something, you got to go for it. You got to put yourself out there. We'll have you come in and do a blow dry. We'll have you come in and do a shampoo, because a good shampoo is like the best thing ever. It's like
Oh
a
my
scalp
God,
massage. Like, people will
It's
fall asleep.
amazing.
They're like, can I just come in for that? So as an assistant, if you want to make good money and good tips, you better get that head massage down pat, because other than that, you might blow dry the client. But other than that, that's your time to, put in your contribution to their experience, basically.
Well, you set the mood too with something like
So,
that. I mean,
no.
you're going into
Yes.
essentially an oasis. After that door to the salon shuts, you're in there and
Yeah.
you want the experience.
Yeah.
And that's, at least for women too, but for guys, that massage and just getting relaxed, and it's just great.
That's the best part of the guy experience. I promise. Like, the hair, as long as they're in my chair and they're relaxed, it makes my job a lot easier. So, and as an assistant, you've really got to take care of your stylist. I don't care if it's making sure they're hydrated. Like, you have to take care of your stylist. But not only that, if you're sweeping for me, we're a family, we're a team. You're not just going to sweep for me and not sweep for the person next to you. Everybody contributes to the salon. Everybody works together and helps out. So it's and the more that people see you contributing, the faster you're going to excel, the more respect you're going to earn. And, it's like that in any job, but.
Oh yeah, totally any job.
Yeah.
You got to put in the hours and the time.
Yep.
In order to make it anywhere,
Absolutely.
for anybody to respect you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when there's people there 15, 12 years, and I went through the program there. I had a full clientele, and I left because after 6 months, they made me manager. And this is a year and a half out of school. And I'm like,
Wow.
well, this is great, but I'm the only one going to shows. I'm the only one, going to classes and trying to better and update and further myself. Because once you stop learning,
Mm-hmm.
it's you can't. There's always something new you can be learning. I don't care if the class is $500 or $5. You're going to go, and it might not even be about hair, but you're going to take something out of it. So the more, and that goes back to the networking, the more you put yourself out there in different classes, cutting, color, styling, anything like that, the better you're going to. When I'm not teaching, because I teach for a product line, I feel like I get stagnant because I'm not in my stage mode or my inspiring mode, kind of, promoting and helping people, because there's hundreds or thousands of people. And if I get out of that mode of thinking, educating, I can get in a real rut, and it's just, you've just got to keep pushing.
Yeah. If you don't keep on developing yourself, what's the point? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's totally in any profession, whether you're a chef or, marketer or salesperson. If you're not trying to do something unique or different, somebody else in the salon over. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And you're then behind the 8 ball and you're playing catch up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that education, education, education. I don't care if you're teaching or you're learning, get involved in it. 3 years into my career, I got recruited by an Italian color line, Alpha Parf, and I started teaching for them. And my business, I think, went from 50 to 100% in the next year, just because I was so much more comfortable talking about the products. I really knew the products. I really knew how they performed. I was being inspired even further, by people from all around the world. So that's another thing I think is great to get into. And if you don't get into that, really know the lines that you carry inside and out.
Okay. So let's kind of get into that a little bit too, as far as is getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
What how does that work? I mean, you've got tips,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got, I'm assuming, a set salary on top of that, or
For assistance.
oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
for assistance. So assistance, it's basically like nothing you get paid.
Okay.
You're really there for the training. It's $50, $60 a day plus tips.
Okay.
But like I said, if you're a great assistant, you do a great head massage, you get along with the clients well, and you add to their experience and you make it better, you're gonna get better tips. So that's up to the assistants. I give them the insight and they go from there. As for a stylist, you can go the commission route, which once you get through our program, for example at Etch, we have so many walk-ins, or new clients every day. We have a lot of traffic. So they'll start feeding you clients. When you're commission, you're splitting. So it could be 50-50, 40-60, depending on where you're at.
But that's about typical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, once you get to a point where you don't want to split your money with someone, then now I just pay a flat rate every week. And I run my own business. So there's a lot of different ways, but getting into a salon with an assistant program and a salon that's going to help you build your clientele, because it's not the easiest thing. You've got to find those couple clients that are just going to pass your cards out to everybody they know. So to be in a commissioned salon to start your career is an unbelievable opportunity.
Okay.
To have.
So
Really
essentially you're renting a space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then whatever you make off of that is your salary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And that's typical
My
of
assistant and all my, taxes and all that. But yeah.
Okay, but that's typical of most high-end salons. You working wise, you're renting a space once it makes financial sense.
Right.
To do
If
so.
if there's space for a rental, like I was lucky enough to be the last person that he gave that opportunity to, because it's all going commission after that. There's probably out of the 33 stylists, there's probably about 10 rentals.
Okay.
So in the salon, I'm very lucky to be in that position, renting, and instead of commission. So.
But that sounds like the way to.
Yeah.
That sounds like the way to go, though. If you can do it like that, that's preferable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then how do you determine your rates? Does a salon select your rates, or do you
commission? Yes, they're set. And so, as far as myself, I started when I first went on my own at the same salon. I kept my prices, and then usually every year and a half to two, I'll raise my services by each one by $5. Okay. So, and it depends on the area you're in. So there's so many salon suites now, and so you can really determine your prices, but if you do that, you've got to look at your surrounding areas, because you don't want to sell yourself short, and you don't want people to feel like they're getting, ripped off, because they could go here and get the same thing for half the price. So you really just it really depends on your area and your expertise, obviously, when you get to a certain point, but yeah.
Okay. As long as the market can bear it, right? And so you're adjusting your price, but if you go way too high, you start losing clients, or you're not as attractive. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I get that.
But they'll complain. Usually that's what it is. My clients are great. I only have like a handful of those, but you know.
Yeah, no,
Little-
that totally makes sense though. I mean, you got to price to yourself and be honest with yourself as far as, hey, my work is valuable to people.
Yes.
And and that's always kind of hard too. It almost goes in line with like when you're at an interview and you always say, "Oh, it's so difficult to promote myself. You know, what are your best qualities?" Well, it's kind of the same way as far as pricing your services.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be.
Yeah. You don't want to brag about yourself and be too overly confident, but you have to know your value. You know, you have to know your worth. And I think a lot of people that are, you know, very giving, they're the givers, they're the caretakers, they end up gypping themselves because, oh, this person is having a hard month or something, you know. So I now, because I am that person, I am like a softie, I make my assistants take care of that. I'm like, you know what to do, you know, but I always take care of my clients. If they've done something or I've had to move an appointment, I'll take care of their treatment or, you know, something like that. But it's, it just depends.
And that's not a bad thing either for your assistant to start dealing with too, is the financial side of the house.
That's not easy.
Yeah. So is there a hierarchy? I've always wondered this. Is there like a hierarchy at a salon in terms of the people that are there the longest or get the, I don't know, maybe the best or the first clients, or how is there a hierarchy in a salon?
In a way, yeah, absolutely. So they just set in place a junior and a senior stylist. So if you make X amount, then you'll be promoted to a senior stylist and you can charge more.
Oh, okay.
But that's through the salon. And then, but yeah, when you first get on the floor, they give you the walk-ins. And every month we have a quota for our product sales. And so if you make that quota every month being new, they'll keep feeding you the clients. Okay. But beyond that, it goes by your product sales, essentially.
Interesting.
That's very important because retail, as an owner, you make the majority of your money off retail sales. So that's a huge money maker. It's very important for your clients to recreate their style at home. You know, it's not like we're selling them something they don't need. We're educating them on how to recreate that. So it's very important to have all those tools and not sell, but educate.
Well, no, that's perfectly fine. So the owner is making the majority of his revenue from the product sales, and you're making the majority of your revenue from the actual styling, the work that you're doing.
We get a percentage of the sales, which is always nice.
Okay.
But I'm going to turn a light on maybe.
Hey, there we go. That's better.
A little better. But yeah, as an owner, that is a huge part of our revenue, yeah.
Okay. And kind of getting into the ownership of a salon, is being a hairstylist, is the ultimate goal for many people, for many stylists, to open up their own salon? Is that the ultimate goal of
I think a lot of them.
Trade?
Yeah, I think a lot of them. When I first started, that was kind of my goal. That was my thinking. That and just being a platform artist and, you know, doing print work and editorial work. But I think just from my experience and being in such a large salon with so much going on, I'm like, I don't want to babysit. Oh, okay. I don't want to take care of everyone. But my thinking has now changed. Like, it goes back and forth. You know, you really have to be ready. You're dealing with artistic people that can be, you know, hairdressers have like a bad rep. Like, you know, they're partiers. They're just crazy. And
that sounds like chefs. That sounds like
right,
artists. That sounds like everybody else.
Industry, yeah. And so I think that it's just kind of funny that we get that bad rep, but it's not like that at all. It's just like any other, you know, profession. But yeah, I think it really, one of my really close friends, I actually went to beauty school with her. She's in the process of opening a salon, and just seeing and being close to all the owners that I've ever worked for, it's a lot of work, and you have to be ready. And especially if you're working behind the chair, it's like double duty. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times the owners will make more money behind the chair than actually owning the salon. So it's up to you. It's up to you if you want to create your environment and control your environment. And it really depends on the person. I go back and forth. Mm-hmm. But I'm blessed enough to love, like I wake up every day, I'm excited to go to work. I'm excited to see the people I work with. I'm excited to see my clients. So I love my environment. I'm so blessed. I just don't understand people that are like, oh, I hate my job, because I have never had that. I've just always loved what I've done. So it just depends on the person, and if they want to do their own thing and put that time in. And but I've been traveling and working for other companies too, so it just depends.
I don't know. It sounds like you'll know when you're ready.
Yes.
Yeah. Or somebody's going to push you.
Absolutely. Like, there's going to be an opportunity that you just can't pass up. And
yeah. Brooke, we know. Come on, you need to be doing this.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't know. No, Brooke, you need to.
All the time, and I'm like, I don't want to babysit. But
eventually they'll give in.
Yeah, but at the same time, I would love to create, and help young stylists grow, and I do at the salon. I try to contribute as much as I can to all the assistants and all the stylists. Like, we really do help out each other. It's a great environment, so I'm very lucky.
Yeah, it's starting on a new path, but I think initially, at least for the first 5-10 years, you're learning your trade.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're probably not even to the point where, like, I don't even know exactly what's going on here, let alone running a shop. You know?
And a lot of people go into it knowing, a lot of people that aren't even stylists go into, opening a salon, and sometimes they fail and sometimes they're great. But I think for me, it takes more of a team. It would take a team of people. Mm-hmm. Because I'm so creative. I can do the education, I can do all that, but you get me on the computer or crunching numbers, and I have about this much patience when something goes awry. I just can't handle it. Give me a messed up haircut or color, and I can fix it all day, but when it comes to all the technical business side, it's just not, I don't enjoy that.
Yeah.
So I would need support. I would need a team of people, and opening my own place. So
that's still really neat, though. Yeah. I think as long as you're happy with where you are, then that's awesome. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of we talked about how to get repeat customers and really marketing yourself. So how do you market yourself? How do you get your name out there to people? Now, granted, you have walk-ins every once in a while, but do you try to explore other avenues to try to get more people to you specifically?
Yeah, definitely. Now, since I'm on my own and I run my own business, I work out at the salon, they don't feed me walk-ins anymore. It's just all me. So I have to rely, word of mouth is the best way to promote yourself, because I know if Kendra refers me a client, I'm going to love them. Because I love her, and you attract like. So word of mouth is my favorite way to drive my business. And Yelp is a huge one too. I did not realize how big Yelp reviews are. I did not realize how many people, look up restaurants and spas and all of that. But it's really, we just started, not a contest, but promoting the salon's Yelp page more, and it's amazing how many clients I've got off of reviews. But these days, social media is so huge, which I suck at.
Getting better. I do too.
But the younger generation, that's how they grew up. They don't even know how to write cursive anymore. It's the craziest thing. I don't think they teach it anymore. One of my girlfriends was like, yeah, her daughter's 18. She's like, she doesn't know how to read cursive because they never taught it to her.
Oh, my goodness.
Which blows my mind. But
We're
So
dating ourselves here.
I know, right? We still look good, so it's okay. No one knows. So I really rely a lot on my young, cute assistants to help me with that. But,
That's a good idea.
posting before and after pictures is huge. Just putting your work out there. Before and after is probably the best. I'd say Facebook and Instagram right now are the best as far as driving, traffic and promoting yourself, getting yourself out there, and I'm learning more about Facebook and how you layer, you post something, and it blows my mind, but I'm trying to learn. So from the young ones, they're helping me. I always tease them. I'm like, you got to keep me hip. Like, what should I be listening to? Which they just laugh at me, but you've got to pick their brains, like that young up and coming generation. I like picking their brains, and I like getting their input on things, because they're the new up and coming. So as long as I can nurture them and help them along the way in any way I can, which is not going to be technology, then I will. But I would say Facebook, Instagram, and Yelp, which I never even thought about till we kind of started promoting our Yelp page more. But people they do research. We have the internet.
Oh yeah.
They can find out where you live. They can find out anything about you, So I think that having your clients write, nice reviews it's almost as good as word of mouth.
Do you ever ask them to, mention you if possible, or
On Yelp.
on Yelp or anything like
Oh,
that? Or
my clients, my clients I've known for so long, I'm like, hey, if you have a minute, just, write something nice about me on Yelp.
yeah,
But
be proactive about it.
yeah, and they have stickers, and even when you're a younger stylist, say, hey, if you wouldn't mind, trying to build my clientele, or however you want to present it, say, I would appreciate it if you would, write a little review on Yelp, and only if it's good. Don't write anything bad, but
No, but that just shows drive as well. I mean, it might be the young stylist that's that's still developing herself or himself, versus the guy that has 20, 30 years in. He's
oh yeah,
producing great hair, but he's not developing himself and marketing himself. He's not going to get as good at clients.
yeah, it's a well, and you look at the Met Gala, right, which is like Anna Wintour, which is like the icon of the fashion and just industry. Anything she says goes. And so you look at the Met Gala, which is like each year that happens. This year is all about technology. So all the outfits, but it's like these unbelievable. It's like the fashionistas of the world come out for this, right? And so you have like Sarah Jessica Parker, you have Beyonce, you have Rihanna, all of the style icons come out in their most unbelievable outfits. So, but this year it was technology what inspired everything, so there was a lot of metallics and different things like that. So there's trends that set, and every year there's colors, just like the fashion industry. There is in Milan, for the most part, that's where everything starts. There's a color palette that's going to be in for the season. There's a style, a shape. Things are going to be more structured, or things are going to be more flowy. And it's the same thing as hair. It all goes together. It's funny, even cars, will mirror. They'll be more boxy, or they'll be more sleek, and a lot of times hair follows that too, because it's all about what's driving the industry in the world right now, which is technology. So we've got to pay attention to that, and I've got to get better at that. So anyone who wants to help me, come on down.
Well, all these guys that are listening, that are in high school, it's like second nature to them.
I know they don't know how to talk on the phone anymore, but they can text a million miles an hour, So, but yeah, it's
Totally true.
Yeah, it's so interesting how it all comes about. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome that you enjoy your work too, and it's a passion, and it's not. I'm sure there's stressful days, just like anything else.
there's annoying clients and people, but I feel so blessed because so many people I know, they're not happy, and I get to go to work every day and create and hang out with amazing people, and I get paid for it. I think back to when I was, young, and, in my head thinking, oh, I want this and I want that. And it's like, I totally dreamed up everything. Everything I'm doing is things that I used to love when I was young, so I think it's just kind of been a part of me, and I just took me a while to figure out which direction I wanted to go. But
Yeah, just like everyone else out there.
right. And it's
Yeah.
great these days too, because a lot of high schools have trade programs. So you can actually start beauty school when you're in high school.
Oh,
And,
wow,
and,
I didn't know
and
that.
it's free. So here, like in the Valley, and I don't know if it's all over the state, but it's called EBIT. So they have a lot of different trade programs. So you can start, getting your cosmetology hours, I think junior or senior year, and it's free. So it's like, start knocking that out. If you're passionate about it, or even think you're passionate about it, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Try it out. And especially if you're not paying anything for it, So there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of grants, and you can get loans. There's a lot of different ways to go about it, but it's a incredible. It's a stable. They say bartenders and hairdressers, no matter what the economy is doing, they're always going to need you. So if you don't have a job, you're going to have to go get your hair cut. You're going to have to look right,
Or get a drink.
And exactly, you had a bad day, you go get a drink, or you go to your hairdresser and bitch about it, and then go get a drink. You know what I mean? So, like, it's a very, I forget, we just had a meeting at the salon, and it's like the number 4 or 5 on the list of, like, great careers to have, like, top careers to have. I mean, you can make stylists that have been there probably more than 8 years. I mean, they're making $100,000, $200,000. I mean, they're making what lawyers are making after 8 years of school.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you
With
can
not as much debt either, which we could talk about all evening too.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's so horrible. So it's an amazing industry if you're passionate about it. And the owner's so funny. He'll promote bartenders. He'll have a favorite bar, and they're just kind of lost. And he's like, just go to hair school. And for guys especially, you guys are lucky. You guys are so lucky, because if you're a decent looking guy, women, they just want to they want to feel good about themselves. And if you have a good looking guy, dawdling over you and making you look good, like,
Talking to
you build
yeah.
your clientele so much faster. It's not fair, but
I didn't even think about that. That's
it's a
interesting.
great opportunity. Yeah, they're
Wow.
not. There's a lot of straight men in the industry, believe it or not.
Plus, you can go the whole route, and I see a lot of barbershops popping up
Yeah.
with the gorgeous hardwood floors and the leather everywhere and the whiskey and
TVs and yeah.
I'd stay there all day.
There's so much opportunity in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
So much opportunity.
That's
And
awesome.
you can make incredible money. And I only work 4 days a week right now. And I just, condensed my clients into 4 days. So I have 3 days off a week.
Mm-hmm. And you're enjoying what you're doing, which is almost, it's probably worth more than a good salary sometimes,
Yeah.
avoiding all that stress and just being happy.
And I'm up and I'm moving around. I'm doing something different every day. I'm not sitting at my desk doing the same thing every day, which is important to me. I've got to be creating, and I don't like doing the same thing every day. As an artist,
Yeah,
you're
an artist. Yeah, definitely.
So it's you're always inspired by something. I love getting my magazines every month, and I just flip through, and you can get inspiration from architecture. It's amazing. Obviously, I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool, Brooke. Hey, if anybody wanted to get in touch with you, how do they do that? I know you mentioned Yelp and Instagram and Facebook and stuff. What do you have?
Yes, you can contact Etch Salon. It's at Kierland Commons. We have a great website. You can go. It's just etchsalon.com. You can find me on Facebook. Oh God, see, here comes the technology. Be Sublime is my my professional page, or you can just look up Brooke Stanley and you'll find that page. But if you want to get in touch with me, if you have any questions, you want to come check out the salon or just pick my brain about anything, just get in touch with me through the salon. And if I don't get back to you right away, my assistant will, and we'll set up a time to chat and, bring you into the salon and tour and talk about doing platform work or talk about your first haircut you're working on. I love talking about it. I love helping anybody and sharing.
That's awesome. And for all you listeners out there too, we're going to put all her information down in the show notes as well. So that'll help you out as well too. So
Yeah, cool. Yes,
Okay.
since I'm so tech savvy and I know so much.
Well, Brooke, it was great talking with you. Seriously,
Yes, likewise, thank you.
it was awesome. And this is a world that I really don't know much about, but I feel as though I walked away with knowing a whole lot more and a lot more confident and
Cool.
knowledgeable in this area.
Awesome. That's
So-
great. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a blast. So anytime you need me, just call.
All right. Well, sounds good. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
So I hope you learned a ton from Brooke about how to get into some of these more exclusive boutique salons that are out there that give you the opportunity, the potential of earning a higher salary. So again, if you like the interview, please like us, subscribe, and also if you got the time, go and check us out at collegealternative.net. There we've got plenty of other podcasts with plenty of other careers for you to choose from. And we're adding to that stuff all the time. And also, if you're in Scottsdale, check out Brooke at Etch Salon. Make an appointment if you want. I know you're going to get a good haircut. And again, until next week, have fun. Later, guys.